Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, especially here in the UK. It is piping hot. I'm hoping that wherever you are, the weather is just as nice. I thought I'd do something a little bit different today. I thought I'd do a Q&A, but obviously I've got my regular co-host. Better late than never. How are you, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm good. Back again. Big up to everyone in the chat, yeah? All right, hope you guys all are doing well. How about you, Daniel? How's stuff with you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. So listen, for everybody who's tuning in, Kevin literally come into the stream about 2 minutes before we went to go live. So I said to him, I said, either he's been sleeping or he's had a hot date.
Yeah, coming back to that, it's kind of hard to get a hot date right now, with all this lockdown and stuff, So we're pretty much laid back, So we'll just have to get through this, run down through this lockdown, and then maybe we can get a hot date. That's what I'm talking about right now.
Oh Jesus, man, it's hilarious. Before we get into talking about, obviously I was gonna do a Q&A and take some questions, but obviously there has been some breaking news, which I'm going to touch upon in a minute. But before I get into all of that, guys, don't forget, at 8 p.m. tonight, I'm going to be doing a quiz on my channel. So I've got me and Kevin. We're going to be hosting it. We're going to be joint hosting it. And then we've got Natesh, Sam, Simpy, I think so far joining in. But yeah, listen, 8 p.m. tonight is going to be the quiz. Me and Kevin have still got to work out the questions and logistics. But listen, it's 8 p.m. tonight. We've got a quiz going on, so be sure to tune into that. And also the other announcement that I want to make, and I haven't stressed this enough, so I want to sort of stress it now, that when you guys put stuff in the chat, and this goes for everybody, I'm not just singling out one individual person here, but when you guys put stuff in the chat, please don't spam the chat with the same comments over and over again, because that really does, it's a complete ball ache when you're trying to read through all that comment and you've got to scroll through the same comment about 100 times. So I'd appreciate it if you guys just put it in once. I'd greatly appreciate that, because it'll make my job and obviously Kevin's job a lot easier to moderate the chat. So please just bear that in mind. Having said all of that, let's get on to the breaking news. And the breaking news is that the Premier League is set to return on the 17th of June. The Telegraph reported it, and then Sky News reported it just a little while ago. Sky Sports have yet to report it, but I'm sure they're not going to be far behind. But yeah, the Premier League is set to return on the 17th of June. And the first game that Arsenal are playing is Manchester City. How do you feel about that, Kevin?
Yeah, the thing is, the irony behind it is we are playing the game that was called off first and foremost after this COVID-19 outbreak, because putting into context, I was just watching Robbie's stream in AFTV just a while ago, Supposedly, we were supposed to be playing Brighton, I believe. So, because if you are going to, judging by the Premier League's restart right now, it's supposed to be Brighton. We are supposed to be playing Brighton right now. But we are now taking up one of the hardest tasks and one of the hardest assignments. As you know, teams, we have noticed it in the German Bundesliga as well, that teams are pretty much not prepared And in the first week, it was kind of a struggle. But it's great news to see the Premier League coming back way early than I expected, to be honest. But it's better off than nothing, you know. Right now, the Premier League has done massive, huge numbers of tests, and I believe so. And the percentage of people getting infected also is not more than a 1%, I'd reckon, because we have just like had about single-digit infections in all the testings, you know. So that's one positive sign of it. And the sooner it begins, and I was also informed that the Premier League is looking forward to like congest most of the fixtures because you're trying to get the season done within 6 weeks. That's what I've been heard. That's what I've been hearing as well. So 6 weeks, and there's like about 9, 10 games, I presume. So meaning to say that's like about a game every 4 days or something. So it's going to be pretty congested, and we have seen that teams really struggle with many games as well, in the physical aspect and stuff. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to. But in an Arsenal, as an Arsenal fan, you know, speaking into context, I would say first assignment against City, that's a tough ask, you know, because we seem like all the time we seem to be unprepared most of the time. We are not prepared. We are literally one of the squads that go unprepared even before the season starts. So it's going to be odd seeing how Arsenal cope up with their first massive task, which is Manchester City. Yeah.
Yeah, big up to 11 people watching live. Remember, guys, do smash the likes on this video, and if you are new around here, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, stick a massive thumbs up on this video. Yeah, listen, I agree with you absolutely, Kevin. I agree with you that actually the Premier League coming back is a good thing. And this is only a couple of weeks away. You think we're into June next week from Monday. So, yeah, listen, I'm excited. If I'm being brutally honest, I'm proper excited. And I'll tell you what, guys, listen, this channel is going to go absolutely berserk with content when the Premier League returns. It's going to go absolutely berserk with content. The content that I've got planned for you guys, listen, it's going to be absolutely insane with the watch-alongs for the Arsenal games, Premier League reviews, previews, and yeah, listen, so you guys brace yourselves because you're going to see content like you've never seen it before on this channel. It's properly going to get ramped up now that the Premier League is coming back. So, yeah, so listen, I actually think it'll be a really good thing. Like I said, I think, you know, even I've seen a report today that Troy Deeney, who was a little bit worried about returning to training, he's had his sort of fears. You know, he's spoken to one of the chief deputy medical officer, and listen, he's a lot more confident about returning to training. Everything seems to be moving in the right direction, and not just with the Premier League, but in life. You know, we've had a massive culture shock with this virus, and everybody's been asked to do some things that they wouldn't normally do, you know, like stay at home and not meet with friends, not meet with families, not meet with, you know, not being able to go to bars, not being able to go to restaurants. So listen, everybody's been asked to do a lot of things that they wouldn't normally do in their everyday lives. And for the last 6 or 7 weeks, it's all been negative news about the deaths, you know, about especially in the UK, about the lack of testing, the lack of preparation with this virus. And now we're starting to see more positive stuff come out, you know, like the Premier League is coming back, the death toll is dropping, the infection, the daily infection rates are coming down. Listen, we've still got a long way to go, but I think we're positively, gradually, and slowly moving forward and slowly coming out of this. Yes, we've still got to be cautious. Of course, we have, but we are gradually starting to see little nuggets of normality come back, and that's got to be a good thing. That has got to be an absolute good thing.
Yeah, Daniel, I agree with you. You know, it seems this virus, the ministers, political aspects of things, everything is literally being blown out of proportion. To be honest with you, you know, it's like what the media suggested was virtually like there's going to be no end. It's like it's going to be the apocalypse or something like that. They were literally telling us like, guys, you're going to be stuck in the house for the rest of your lives, and there's going to be like no football for the next 1 or 2 years. It was completely ridiculous, you know, the statements and the news suggesting that they came out with, you know. That's the thing, because every virus the world has ever had, you know, we have been infected with various viruses ever since prior to I was born. We had the Spanish flu, we had Ebola, we had, there's so many diseases in this world. There is no end. Until this very day, there's still being reported ongoing Ebola cases, influenza. There's still many cases going on, but it's unnoticed. Right now, this case is totally being like, it's like a main focal point right now. And that's how the media is just cooking up stories on this. So we just have to live through this, you know, because there, until there's a vaccine, and then, yeah, we can talk about, yeah, it can cure and all this, but right now we don't have a vaccine. So the simple way that we can avoid this virus is perhaps by just taking simple measures, you know, like social distancing, all right? Like social distancing, like checking your body temperature and stuff like this, you know, hand sanitizing, yes, sanitize your hands whenever you touch, whereby an exposure to items that's being touched by many people or something. So these are certain simple measures which can be taken into context, but it is what it is, right? Because players are also being tested. So I don't see the fuss on players not going to training just because there's the odd 1 or 2 cases. I think that's with the Troy Deeney story as well, because he came out and mentioned that he's afraid that his son, which is a few months old, might get infected and stuff like this, you know, because the football players are well paid. Okay, let's put the financial side of things one side, you know. The Premier League is virtually testing these players about 3 or 4 times a week or something. Yeah, these players are getting tested virtually. They are not privileged. The players are much more privileged than us normal people, you know, because for us to get a test is virtually impossible. It's like unless you show symptoms and then we'll get you tested. It's like we can't do a random test. It's very, very, very much tough, you know. So the players shouldn't be worried much of getting infected and stuff, because right now they are well taken care of by the Premier League, by the FA. So there's so many parties combining to make this success, and we just can't take a dig at the Premier League that it's coming back too early, because we cannot put a full stop to life right now. You know, life has to go on, and if the Premier League is coming back, it comes back because it's safe to do so. There's no government and no ministers in the world that's going to organize a massive sporting event just in the case of money. You know, they will come back because normality has to kick in. Because if you were to put into context that if they were to suspend this season, and if they were to bring it back next season, let's say we have the odd 1 or 2 cases next season as well, that is also going to put that the following season in jeopardy as well. So there's no such thing as a perfect outcome out of this outbreak, you know. So the big thumbs up to the Premier League for coming in with this solution as well. You know, they have one positive thing I would say from the Premier League is I think they have taken very deep understanding of how the Bundesliga was proceeding. So they had to take certain measures, certain countermeasures in how to improve and eradicate the spread of virus. So that's one positive I can see from this. So we will see how the games pan out right now. It's going to be like because fixture wise, you're going to notice like there's going to be a fixture congestion, I presume, because I bet they want to finish the season as fast as possible so that the next season could resume, you know. So they wouldn't prolong the thing. They probably will try to congest all the fixtures in. And how the Premier League clubs, each and every clubs, from the ones that's battling for the championship to the ones battling relegation, is going to have a huge say in this, you know, because not many clubs, the massive clubs, we have seen like the massive clubs has the upper hand right now, even though in empty stadiums, you know, there's no fans allowed. So the massive clubs, they seem to have the upper hand towards it because the quality and the presence on the pitch, that's what separates them from the other smaller teams. The smaller teams, it's going to be tricky for the smaller teams. It's hard to say, you know. So that's the way I see it right now. Then, how about you?
Yeah, listen, I absolutely agree. I think there's never going to be a complete safe time to bring back the Premier League. You know, there really isn't. So, you know, this is as safe as it can be to bring it back. Yeah, listen, everything's moving in the right direction with the Premier League. Everything's moving on, and I can't tell you, I'm buzzing. I am absolutely buzzing that it's coming back.
Yeah.
So yeah, listen, I think it's going to be a great thing. I think it's going to be fantastic for the nation, for everybody, for football fans, and for the players. I think they're going to want to play. You know, they're going to want to play. Big up everybody in the chat, the regulars: Melina, Simpy, Omar, VP, Ilias, Steve,
Tyrone, Leon, Liam.
Yeah, big up to everybody in the chat.
Big up Cheddars as well. Yeah, Cheddars, Bertrand.
And Simpy says he hopes there better be some red cards in the questions tonight for the quiz. For anyone who's joined late, let me just give you a quick reminder that at 8 p.m. tonight there's going to be a quiz. Myself and Kevin are going to be the hosts, and Simpy, Sam, and Natesh are going to be the competitors. And obviously, you guys can all join in the chat as well.
Get your pen and papers ready, guys, and you can join in.
Get it ready because it's happening. So 8 p.m. tonight. 8 p.m. tonight. It's going to be a mixture of football questions, Arsenal questions, and some general knowledge questions as well. So yeah, listen, stay tuned. And Sky Sky Sports have just obviously confirmed that the Premier League is resuming on the 17th of June, so they're a little bit late to the party, but thanks for sharing that notification. Yeah, so big up everyone in the chat. Let's have a look here at some questions. So yeah, Melina and Omar's got it right. No spam in the chat. For anybody who's joined late, please just put it in once, because lately I've had a bit of spam in this chat. So you know, just yeah, listen, it is what it is. I've put it out there. You've been warned. And also on that as well, I just want to quickly say, I'd just like to welcome Melina to the list of moderators.
Congratulations, Melina.
I'm not sure whether she's realised yet, but I made her a moderator earlier. So yeah, Melina, if you've not yet realised, you are now a moderator. So yeah, you wield some power in the chat. So yeah, welcome Melina to the list of moderators. Let's have a look here. Tyrone says he can't believe we have Man City first. Listen, I actually think that would be a cracking game to kick off. I actually strangely think we could have a chance in that game, you know, because Man City aren't going to be firing on all cylinders, are they? Because
Yeah,
listen, I know
Daniel.
Arsenal's not
Yeah.
going to be firing on all cylinders, but I'm looking forward to Arteta against Guardiola for the first
Yeah.
time. Let's not forget that he's going to be taking on his old mentor for the first time.
Yeah, that's the thing, Daniel. Because if you realize, last season when Unai Emery was in charge, I think our first two games was one of the toughest opponents. You know, we played Manchester City and Chelsea as well. So, based on that context, you know, our first game was against Manchester City at home, if I'm not mistaken, and we lost that game 2-0. You can see that both clubs were virtually rusty. You know, both clubs were virtually rusty. The performance weren't up to standards. But if Arsenal can just pull up some strings together and just like play their normal way instead of like just like thinking, oh no, it's a Manchester City, no, we're going to lose, we're going to draw. If they're going to think negative, they're literally going to lose.
Listen, I think we're going to do all right, but Bertrand, I've just got to pick you out on your comment. I don't think we're going to slap City 6-1. Yeah, and come on, guys, everybody else in the chat, come on, guys, be positive. Listen, we don't know. We listen. Come on, we got to back Arteta. We might very well get battered, but we might very well not get battered too. We might win.
There is a way for optimism, you know, Daniel. The reason being is, okay, not to take a dig personally on Pep Guardiola. You know, Pep Guardiola is one of the he's one of the massive influences in football as well. But let's not forget that he lost his grandmother, I presume, in this pandemic as well. You know, so morally that's totally going to affect him. But is it going to really affect the players? We are not really sure about it. And how the players respond to this, that's going to be another situation that we must analyze on the first game. So that's hopefully Arsenal and Mikel Arteta can work some wonders in training. You know, we can see the boys are pretty much preparing and gearing things up and stuff like this. But let's see how it works on the pitch. I love the optimism, though.
Yeah, and listen, Simpy says we can beat City because we got Ozil. Fuck Ozil. Tell you that. Fuck Mesut Ozil. If he's playing, then there's no hope for us. Do you know what I mean? Listen.
It's like 10 men, yeah.
Yeah, we might as well play with 10 men. And then literally, we might as well play with 10 men.
Apologies, Omar. I didn't know. Yeah, he lost his mom. Yeah, I was just pretty much confused with that. You know, many people lost their lives in this pandemic as well.
Yeah. Listen. I am listen, obviously anybody who loses a life in the pandemic is sad. Of course it is. It's absolutely tragic and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I absolutely wouldn't. But I also think that you have to sort of draw, you have to sort of we've got two choices, right? We either start to move forward as a world, because let's be honest, the whole world right now at the moment is recalibrating, you know, with this virus, or we just stay in lockdown forever until, you know, until a vaccine is found, and a vaccination might not be the answer. You know, you never know what's going to happen. Listen, don't get it wrong, right? I absolutely am not I'm not saying that whoever has lost their lives in this and the families affected, listen, I'm not sort of trying to brush that aside in any way, shape or form, because that is absolutely tragic. And listen, if that was me, I'd probably have the same concerns of, oh, it's possibly too soon, or it's possibly, but as harsh as this is going to sound, life has to go on. And do you know what I'm saying? I say that with the utmost respect for everybody who's, you know, lost a loved one in this pandemic. And listen, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but life can't stop because some, you know, people die. Listen, people died from other things. and life still goes on. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's a tragic. Listen, unfortunately, death is a part of life, and it's, listen, I'm not no way down in it, no way down in it at all, because you know, it is tragic. But we have to. There's been so much negative stuff in this pandemic. Let's try and focus on all the positives. You know, all the positives, and the positives are not only with obviously football coming back, because obviously football is in, you know, it's when it's lives at stake, it's not that important, football. But let's focus on the fact that infection rates are coming down, and you know, there's things happening. You know, sure, you're going to get the odd people that go, well, actually, it's too soon, it's too, but it's never ever. There's never ever going to be a right time for any of it, is there? There's never going to be a right time.
Yeah, Daniel, I totally agree. It's just part of life, you know. We just lose a loved one, but the thing is, we must move on. There's no such thing that we just can be stagnant because just because we lost the loved ones. You know, it's just part and parcel of life. So if someone lost their life in a tragic incident, we all share the same thoughts for them. You know, we just keep them in our prayer, and that's the best we can do. You know, you just can't like just say, no, this person just lost their life, I'm like not literally not going to do anything in my life. No, it's not the end of the life. It's one person's end of the life. It's not your end of the life, you know. So if a person, I echo what many people keep on saying, you know, it's not easy when you lose a loved one, but it's the way it is, you know. People, every day people die, every day people are born. So it's just a cycle. So it's just a cycle of life, and we just have to deal with it, because no one is assured of tomorrow. Let's be honest here, no one is assured of tomorrow, and life can never be taken granted. You know, everyone, we just have to cherish the beautiful moments that life has to offer, and we just put the negativity aside and just move on with the positives. That's what we humans do, you know.
Exactly. Absolutely, exactly. And listen, Omar says the media scaremonger. Exactly, Omar. I absolutely do completely accept that. And, you know, Kevin, you make a good point about, you know, life has to, you know, it's part of life, and it is a part of life. And, you know, we do have to, you know, we have to accept it, and we're not assured of tomorrow. You know, tomorrow, it's not given that we're going to see tomorrow. You know, if you'd asked me in January, would we be in the situation we're in now with the pandemic, I would have laughed at you. I probably would have gone, nah, not, you know, this never going to happen. But it has happened, and listen, who would have thought it? So yeah, it's, you know, it is one of them things. And Omar says money has long destroyed the game of football. Do you know what it is, right? It's a business. Everything is about money. It is about money. You know, you could possibly, you know, it is about money. It is about money. But, you know, you could possibly say that certain, you know, everything is a business. Always is going to put money before other things.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, certain, say, like radio shows or something, or fan channels or something, you know, that are run as businesses. You know, that they set out with an idea of, you know, being there for the fans, and then they obviously just turn it into a business, and they do what's best for business. But do you know what I'm saying? Listen, everything is about money. Unfortunately, that's just the way of the world.
Yeah. Football clubs are literally football club are literally run by businessmen right now. They are just an investment. They're just an investment right now. All football clubs, literally, because you are seeing that many football clubs At first, when this, I mean, not this pandemic, at first, when football clubs begin taken over by big billionaires, starting off from Roman Abramovich and then the Manchester City owners. So there's quite a number of owners right now, quite a number of ownership coming and taking over football clubs right now because they treat it as an investment model right now. So they want to secure their assets. So their assets is most likely these football clubs with the incoming stream, sponsorship and stuff. And everything is an avenue for money right now. And it's a pretty much a sad thing to see right now that football has been like literally overrun by money right now. Gone are the days whereby the football players used to play for passion, like there's many players back in the day, that just play for the badge, they literally play for the badge. And it's a sad twist of events right now that many players are just playing for the money. It's like, if you were to offer me more money, I'm coming to your club, I'm playing for your club, and then if my contract expires or contract ends, I'd see where the club is heading to. If the club is going to give me more money, it's two-way. It's either the club is going to give me more money, I want to see the direction if the club is going to be successful in the next few years, and then I'll stay. If not, I'm moving on. Back in the day, you don't have that mentality with players. They just come there, they just say, I'm staying here, I'm going to achieve something great with this club. Even though the team is bang average, they would really die for the club. So it's a dying breed right now that players really play very hard for their players. With the likes of Tony Adams, Sol Campbell, Thierry Henry, Bergkamp, all these players they never wear Arsenal on their jerseys as well. They wore Arsenal on their chests, and that's what brought us so much success. The players these days are literally just wearing the Arsenal jersey on top of them and just claim that they are Arsenal players. But what are they doing? They're taking back loads of money just to wear the jersey. Even I can do that. I just can wear the jersey and I just can get bags of money. But it's just a sad turn of events right now that players seems to just go for money, and even businessmen just coming over and just taking over the models of football. The football tradition is slowly disappearing. It's a sad truth, but that's the way it is, and that's what's going on in the world of football right now.
Yeah. So Chadwick's put a question here. He's saying who he's at. He's put it to me, but we'll both discuss it. So he's asked who will be the surprise player of the last 10 games for Arsenal. Do you know what, right? I actually think I'm going to go for two. I actually think Pepe and Martinelli are going to be the surprise players. I really do. I think they're going to be the real surprises in the last 10 games. Kevin, what do you reckon?
Well, I'm going slightly different. I'm leaning towards Sokka and also Martinelli. The reason I'm going with Sokka and Martinelli is Martinelli has literally, we have seen what he can do in the absence of Aubameyang. He came in and then he filled up his shoes and then he just he went on, he did wonders. Sokka in the other terms, but the irony is he's playing at left back right now, but we have seen how pivotal he is right now because he's the one that gives a depth of a touch and a great cross into the box. He's probably the only left back which is currently not his position. He's the only one that's giving in the ball in very well, and that contributes a lot to the team. The only thing when you go with Pepe, Daniel, I just have one thing with Pepe. He dribbles too much. And he literally just he can have a shot at goal. He can have a shot at goal or just square it up to some other player, but he don't seem to do that. He just overcomplicate things, and that's the big weakness I would say. But in Pepe, but let's be honest, it's just his first season, so we just cannot diss him out right now just because he dribbles too much. Because we have seen the best of we have yet to seen the best of Pepe yet. So Pepe will only come good, but at the moment of time, the focal point will be between these two teenagers, in the likes of Martinelli and Sokka, because they contemplate each other very well. They seem to have a very, very good understanding between each other, especially in the left-hand side. Because I assume that Martinelli even likes playing with Sokka as well. They seem to have built a very strong understanding with each other. So I can only see if Martinelli and Sokka were to start games for Arsenal, I can see only good things happening on the left-hand side for Arsenal, you know. The right-hand side, forget it. I don't think so. Zoolander, aka Bellerin, is not going to make it, you know, because he's pretty much overhyped right now with his injury of the ACL. And yeah, the right-hand side is pretty much a weak point for Arsenal right now. But I can see brighter things happening in the left, and also not to mention that even Aubameyang also played in that position as well. So yeah, it's the strength hole is in the left. So I go with Martinelli and Saka right now. These are the players to watch for the last 10 games, and even for the upcoming 10 games. I'd keep an eye on those guys because those guys are phenomenal talents right now.
Yeah. So Melina's asking what our thoughts are on the police brutality that happened over in the US there. Do you know what? I actually heard about this, and it didn't look good, actually. I saw the video where he sort of said that guy couldn't breathe. And yeah, listen, I heard about that, and it is proper tragic. You know what? That police officer should be absolutely ashamed of himself, you know, because that was bang out of order, absolutely bang out of order. Did you see that, Kevin? Did you see the?
Yeah, I heard the news about it in Twitter as well. So this police brutality, gun violence, it seems it just happens everywhere, you know, this police brutality, but it's just bang out of order in the United States right now. It's a sad sight to see, you know, because it's just a shame to see people with authority, people with power just going up against like normal civilians, you know. It's very embarrassing because people seek protection from police, you know. People seek protection from police. They are the ones that's supposed to protect us, you know, not the other way around, whereby we are going to police brutality. Because this is not the first time. Let's be honest here. There's been a lot of violence which maybe not even covered by the media, you know, like there's been like violence against black men also in the United States, you know. So there's a lot of things that's going unnoticed. But one of these things, yeah, I presume one of the high officials, ministers, perhaps from the cabinet authorities, just be much more open in suggesting like what are the measures to be taken, how to handle certain type of situations and scenarios instead of going on all so brutal and stuff like this, you know. Because let's be honest here, no one has the right to hit you if you're not on the wrong end of stuff, you know. If you're innocent, you are not supposed to get hit by anyone, you know. That's virtually abuse, right? People can literally convict you in court as well. So yeah,
you know, I agree. Listen, I absolutely agree. And Omar's saying it's disgusting. Big up Grant Roberts as well.
Big up Grant.
And Melina said those police officers should be charged with murder. If they were black police officers, it would be a different story. I agree.
I just was coming to that. Yeah,
I agree. And listen, I obviously I'm a white guy. You can all see that, but I've got no time, absolutely no time for people who are racists. Absolutely, listen, I can't. I've got a zero tolerance policy to racism. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't stand people who are racist, and it shouldn't be that just because you're a certain color, you get you get treated differently. And you know, I hate it. I absolutely do hate it. Listen, I can relate to it because I get the same similar prejudice for having a disability. and that's why I absolutely can't stand.
Yeah, agree,
racism.
Daniel. Yeah, if we are in the 21st century, we are in the 21st century. Why the hell are we having racism issues? If this was the 19th century, and look, I'm a tan skin guy, you know, I'm a tan skin guy. I'm like semi-black, I suppose, but I'm not literally black. Probably I'd be auctioned right now, 200 years ago, you know, because I saw one of the stand-up comedians just mentioned, you know, color is just something. Color is just something. That's just mix and match right now, you know. Everybody's mixed, you know. We all just have a certain culture, certain aspect of life, so we disregard to that, you know. We just cannot take a dig at people like that, you know. It shouldn't be, it shouldn't be a thing of discussion right now, especially in the 21st century.
And the thing is with comedians, a lot of people go, well, you know, comedians are racist and stuff. The difference is, right, and I'm going to say this right now, the difference is with comedians, they're doing it for a laugh. So to me, racism is born out of hate. So if you are literally hating on somebody because of the color of their skin, that is different to a comedian just trying to get a laugh out of somebody. You know, I've seen some comedians where, you know, they tell racist jokes and they tell racist, but you could tell that as soon as they get off stage, they don't tolerate racism. Do you know what I mean? Like they, you know, to me, racism is born out of hate. If you're hating on somebody because of the color of their skin, that is completely unacceptable. And I think that's where people get confused. You know, like a lot of people go, well, you know, comedians are racist, but, you know, people still watch them. And yeah, some of them do go over the top. Some of them go way over the top. But, you know, racism in general is born out of hate. There's no other way of sort of saying it, you know, like, you know, it's different, you know, like somebody is going to put somebody in prison just because of the color of their skin. That is completely wrong. That is just completely unprejudiced.
Yeah, I agree, mate.
You know, completely, completely.
It's unacceptable, yeah.
You know, I've just got no time for you know, for racists who, you know, who are, you know, who just hate on people because of the color of their skin, you know, like, not just the color of their skin, you know, because let's be honest, racism is not just about skin color. It can be about different nationalities.
Yeah.
You know, so listen, I don't like that. Listen, everybody, and do you know what it is, right? I always say that people from those places are more friendlier, especially like, I wouldn't say, I mean, we, like, Britain has quite a few racists in our country, unfortunately, and the US has a big you know, the USA is known for its racism, and it's wrong. It is total wrong. You know, you should not be in this day and age. I still get it now with disability. With my disability, the fact that I can't see right, I still get, you know, whenever I travel, I still get, oh, well, what's the point in you going on? You know, what's the point in you going on going on a holiday or a sightseeing tour when you can't see it? Or what's the point in you going to a football match when you can't see it? And, you know, I know exactly where people who have suffered racism are coming from, because it's the same with disability discrimination. It's exactly the same, you know.
Nobody, just to top it all off, Daniel, nobody wanted to be accused, nobody wanted to be just called off names, you know. Nobody deserves the right just to be called off names and just to be mentioned on stuff like this.
So GDU Gaming says we all come from a vagina. We're all brothers and sisters.
Big up GDU.
Yeah. Do you know what it is as well? And this is listen. I always say to I've got a mate who's gay, and I always joke with him about like he's like oh never liked vaginas, never. And I'm like, mate, you came out of one. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've seen at least one in your lifetime, you know. So it's just, yeah, listen, it's I can't believe we've gone from football to racism to talking about vaginas. That's a very diverse stream.
I like how this is going.
And Omar says this is modern society. Do you know what, Omar? I agree, but it's wrong. And there's no way. And do you know what? If I see somebody being racist, you know, I've got no time for that. Do you know what I mean? I've got no time for it. And it's, I've don't get me wrong, right? I watch a lot of comedians who tell racist jokes, right? But like I said, there's a difference between telling a joke to make someone laugh and being absolutely hateful on somebody. Like I have been, right? I have seen, let me say this for instance, right? Yeah. If somebody was to come up to me and say, listen, you can't do, how best can I describe it? So if somebody was to come up to me and say, somebody has to come up to me and say, oh, why are you going to a football match? You can't see. To me, I take that, I don't take it personally, but I know they're saying it out of hatred. You know, they're saying it out of, they're saying it out of, just because they don't understand my disability, they don't understand me. But flipping the coin, I'm the first person to walk into a room and bump into something and laugh about it. It depends on the context of the situation. So like, people shouldn't be hating on somebody because of their skin color, because of their disability, because of their nationality. It's just wrong. It is just totally wrong. Big up to Tahib, who's in the chat.
Tahib is in the chat. Big up Tahib. Tahib, no talking about snakes, Tahib.
Let's have a look here. What do we got? So Melina said she's faced it too at university. Yeah, it's wrong. And I always say to people, because they always say to me, why don't you get offended by it? And I'm like, well, because at the end of the day, they're just showing their hand and showing how shallow they are as people.
At the end of the day, we just must be proud to walk our color. That's the way I see it. Whatever color we are, just be proud and walk with it. Instead of just discriminating other colors, no. Just walk proud with it, Show that you're proud of your color. Show you're proud of your nationality. That's the way I see it. To defeat racism, I think that's the only way. Show that you're proud about it. If you're not going to show you're proud of it, if you're doubting your own nationality, if you're doubting your own color, that is a victory for all racism, So that's the way I look at it, Daniel.
Right, let's have a look here what we got. So GD's asked me a question. Yeah, so I was born blind, so I never I was born blind. So yeah, I never I've got a little bit of vision in my left eye, so I can see colors, light perception, and light and dark, and sort of very large shapes. But yeah, listen, I can't sort of read print or do various things like obviously can't drive. Listen, if I was to drive, I think that would just be more dangerous to the public than myself. Do you know what I mean? So Omar's never experienced racism. That's good, Omar. Listen, I hope you never do experience it, because it's wrong, you know. And you know, I guess as well, because you know, you guys, you come from a country that, you know, you come from a country, I suppose, in there, that, you know, because you guys, you know, you come from a country, you know, like Kenya, that is more, what's the word? There's more. There's people. You guys are more understanding and less judgmental, and I do find that with certain countries, that you go to them places, and because you guys are religious as well, you know, you guys are generally tend to be more, you know, less judgmental and treat others how you'd like to be treated kind of society. Whereas over here in Britain, everybody just thinks of themselves. Everyone's always moaning about something or other, and no one's got time for anybody else. And we live in a society over here in Britain, and I know the US experience it a lot as well, where everybody takes the every man for himself kind of attitude, and they trample over people who they perceive as weak people, to get to where they want to be, which is totally wrong.
Yeah. Another problem is with the Islamophobia as well. People just taking a dig against Islams, you know. So that is something that I don't really support, because all religions in the world, all religions preach one language: peace, harmony. So I don't think so. Any religion just condemns, just brings out hatred, you know. So yeah.
Let's have a look here.
VP, Omar is still stalling on the contract, mate. He's still not signing, you know. It's pretty a sad sight. I might as well have to pin him over.
So Melina says, I can see Ozil starting from the trash can.
That's where he belongs, right? He isn't all that.
And so GDU Gamer, he says, don't class it as a disability, class it as an advantage. I do, mate. Listen, I never listen, if somebody tells me I can't do something, I'll just go and do it. Do you know what I mean? Like I've traveled to different places on my own. I've sort of I go to pretty much every Arsenal game. Although that's going to change in the near future, because nobody's allowed to go to any Arsenal game. So yeah, listen, you're absolutely right, and I don't certainly don't pay these people what they say much attention, you know. All right, let's have a look here. Let's have a look here. What we got here? Imagine Ozil as Arsenal's assistant coach.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
You know what? The only coach I want Ozil to be is one that drives away from the Emirates and never comes back. He'll be a coach, yeah. He'll be a coach driver, and he'll be driving the coach far away from the Emirates as soon as possible. Because the quicker that guy leaves the club, the better. Do you know what I mean? The quicker that guy hops on a plane to Fenerbahce or somewhere and you know, takes his 350 grand a week. Do you know what? I'd love to be in Ozil's position, right? just sitting on the bench taking 350 grand a week for doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's getting literally a lot of money, you know.
Taib says, what's the point in Ozil attending training sessions? He does absolutely fuck all. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He just sits there with a beer in his hand, probably watching everybody else do all the hard work. Right, let's have a look here.
Daniel, I got one question for you, mate.
Yeah.
You're up for it? All right. The thing is, there was like one guy just coming up and telling me, is Lacazette or Giroud better?
Lacazette.
Or Olivier Giroud?
Yeah, Lacazette.
Lacazette,
simply because his work rate is better than Giroud. Like I said, Arsenal could have saved themselves loads of money by just buying an electronic lamppost that can head the ball into the net instead of signing Olivier Giroud. Seriously, they could have saved themselves a lot of money. Like with Ozil, they could just put an old lady in a mobility scooter and they'd be more mobile than Mesut Ozil. Literally, they would save themselves 300. She'd probably only want about 80 grand a week as well. And yet Ozil's on 350 grand, and I've never seen a player who's less mobile than Mesut Ozil. The Chips Keswick has retired from his role as Arsenal chairman. Is that true? Because if it is, mate, pop the champagne.
Good things for Arsenal then, I suppose. Yeah. Oh man. It's pretty much ridiculous with a lot of things that's going on, you know. It's just like funny to see how things just panned out right now in life. So we are all glad that Arsenal has come back right now to us on June the 17th. So we just can't wait for it.
Yeah, so Amar says Lacazette has worse stats than Giroud, but he's better. Oh, GDU. So you're streaming at 8 p.m. Unfortunately, that's when I'm doing my quiz. So if you can hold off till 9 p.m., I'll tune in.
Is Simpy in the chat?
Sorry?
We got 16 people in the chat right now. So 16 people watching as well. So is Simpy in the chat? Simpy is giving a giveaway if the winner of the quiz gets an Ozil scarf.
yeah, he's going to give the Ozil scarf signed by Ozil. So Chadwick says, when I came to Aspen, did I do some skiing? Yes, I did. In 2005, I skied down. I'd skied on the ski slopes in Aspen. I tell you what, an amazing place, absolutely amazing place. The ski slopes there, skiing on fresh snow. There's nothing like it. Absolutely out of this world. I would love to come back to Colorado, but the only thing that fucked me up about coming to Colorado was the jet lag on the way home. Listen, I ended up sleeping for days, mate. Absolute days. But yeah, Colorado, lovely place. I love Colorado. That was my first ever holiday outside of the UK. And it was my first ever plane flight as well. And I had to get 3 aeroplanes, 8-hour flight to Chicago, then Chicago to Denver, and then Denver to Aspen. So yeah, I don't do things by half, do I? I just you know, that was the first ever time I went on an aeroplane. So yeah, listen, I've got a bit of a soft spot for America because I've been there so many times, and had every time I've been there, I've had the most amazing time. So yeah, I've got a bit of a soft spot for America. I always say when I go back to America, it's like going back to my second home because yeah, I've always had the best of times when I've been to America, and it is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Let's have a look. Have a look here. What we got here. So do fire up the likes, everybody. Yeah, so currently 16 people watching live. I tell you what, that is amazing, considering considering we've been going for almost an hour. So what I'm probably going to do now, guys, is I'm going to wrap up because me and Kevin need to go and work out this quiz before jumping on Simpy's channel. So if you guys want to subscribe to Simpy, if you're not already subscribed to him, so go and click on his name in the chat and do hit the subscribe button on his channel. And yeah, we're going to be over there at 5 p.m. Also, don't forget, we're going to be back here at 8 p.m. with a panel of guests. Me and Kevin are going to be hosting the quiz jointly. And then we've got Sam from Sam Greenwood TV. Fully go and check out his channel as well. Natesh. Also go and check out his page, Arsenal FC Fans, I believe it's called.
Yeah, in Facebook, guys.
Yeah. So his is on Facebook, not YouTube. So go and fully check out his page and give that a like, and check out all the stuff that he's been doing over there. I know he's got a competition going on at the moment where you can, I think it's just a bit of a fun. I think
the competition is basically about who's the first signing that Arsenal is going to make this summer. So I think that's the competition is about. So you guys guessed it right or something. There's some like giveaway or prizes to be won. You guys should check out on his page right now in Facebook, Arsenal FC Fans, and the full details and description is in his page as well, guys. So please go show some love and support.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, please go and check out his page. And also check out my page, The Blind Gooner, on Facebook. So please go and check that out. I hardly ever post anything there because I don't have many people on it at the moment. So once I get it up to a reasonable thing, I'll be posting the streams will be going there as well. And go and check out my Twitter, The Blind Gooner. And then also my Instagram, which I hardly post anything there as well, which is The Blind Gooner, and I've got a whole load of numbers at the end of it, and I can't remember. So
you can also check Daniel's Facebook page as well, The Blind Gooner as well. So he has a Facebook. Yeah.
So go and fully check that out. Well, Kevin, listen, we better clock off and go and work out this quiz. But listen, thanks for joining me on this stream. Yeah,
no problem, buddy. No problem. Anytime. As your co-host, I am pretty much every time available, guy.
Yeah, and to everybody in the chat, I'll see you all at 8 p.m.
Later, peeps.